I absolutely have to share this. Dumelang bakgetho, I'm Tebogo Tinti, and it takes as long as it takes. There is no time frame to it, and I'm referring to the fact that somebody recently finished reading my book, and then they asked me how long it took me to heal and why I'm finally speaking about the things that I've been through now. Number one, I've always spoken about the things that I've been through. I have always spoken about how hard the things that I went through were. I was speaking about how bad initiation was while I was in initiation, while I was in there. And that is what pretty much isolated me, or that is what made it even harder, because I would point out, guys, this is not okay. And the fact that I was speaking made it even more difficult, and the punishments became harsher and harsher and often because I was speaking out, so they wanted to shut me out. When I finally left, the day that I left, I spoke out. All I did was talk. All I did was talk. And in many, many, many ways, they would try to shut me up and shut me down and completely silence me. I will share all of those ways. I feel like there are people who feel as though I have been silent when I have not been silent. I have been speaking, but in my speaking, I've also had to do some healing. I have had to live. I had kids to raise. I had my own life to pursue, my own dreams and personal goals to reach. So when I was busy living, it does not mean I was quiet about the thing. I was not as vocal because I was busy doing other things and making sure that I heal and making sure that I come out of it okay. And when it comes to healing, healing takes as long as it takes. There is no time frame to healing. You can't say to somebody or anybody who has gone through anything that is difficult and say, you've been dealing with this for 3 years, it's time to get over it. There is no such thing. And I know there is a belief and there is a phrase that has been nailed into our heads, that time heals all wounds. Time heals nothing. Time heals nothing. It is what you do during that time that heals the wounds, because you can go through something for a decade, and when you open your eyes and blink, you realize that nothing has changed. The healing comes with you acknowledging the pain and acknowledging the changes that pain has caused in your life, and acknowledging the PTSD, acknowledging what your trauma left you with, because that is what PTSD is. That is what PTSD is. It is what your trauma and your pain leaves you with. Like what are you left with now that this thing has happened to you and it has passed? For me, I was left with insecurity. I was left with severe self-doubt. I was left with severe guilt. I was left with severe detection. Like I can't even say I hated myself. I detested myself. The fact that I would wake up every day in this being, I couldn't stand that fact. I hated every single decision that I made that led me to that place. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand myself. I couldn't stand my train of thought. I couldn't stand my opinion. And because of that, I couldn't trust it. I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust any decision that I ever had to make. I didn't trust every thought that came into my mind, except the thought that said, I am good for nothing. I'm worth nothing. And I don't deserve anything, especially to be seen and to be loved and to be appreciated, and to like, I didn't deserve it all. That was my belief. That is what my trauma left me with. And I most certainly did not believe in relationships and love and all of those things. There was a point when I thought that my son only loves me because in life you only get one mother, and he stuck with me. And like, what other choice does he have? You know, I thought that he loved me because he was making good of this mother that he got stuck with, and he was like, oh well, what am I going to do? I don't have a choice, so I might as well go with it. That was how bad I thought about myself. That was how low I thought of myself. And to get into a relationship, for somebody to say you are a beautiful woman, you're a fantastic woman, and I'm in love with you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you, I thought, well, something is definitely wrong with you. You are worse off than I am, because what is wrong with your brain cells that you would love me when I feel that way about myself? So I had to rewire my brain. I had to rewire my nervous system. I had to rewire everything about me to come back to the other side and say, listen, everything that happened to me doesn't make sense. And I stopped making sense of it, because I had made sense of it. I justified it to a point where I would say things like, I understand why this happened to me. I would say stuff like that. I know I was too far gone, but I know better now. And it took as long as it took. And I'm going to keep talking about this thing until I'm out of breath, because it is my belief that there will be somebody out there who will hear what I have to say, and they will have the same thought and say, listen, it does not make sense that I'm going through this. So I need to start doing things that make sense to my existence. Like, why am I here? I need to do things that make sense about the person that I am. There has to be a reason why God placed me on this earth. And it is not to hide in fear, and it is not to hide in sadness, and it is not to die in pain. There has to be something bigger. And that is why I will never stop talking about it. I'll never stop talking about it, and I will never stop talking about this love for life that I have, and this love for myself that I have, and this love for my son that I have, and this love for this man that I have. We cannot keep romanticizing struggle and say, oh, if not me, then who? No, not me and not nobody. It is not okay. It is not okay. And healing is not an overnight thing. I had to work very hard. I had to dig in the deepest parts of my core. I had to find things about myself that I didn't even know that I could do. Now I surprise myself every single day. Like, I can gain weight. Me? I can gain weight. I can have a little fat. I can have a little skin on my bones. I can have a little fat on my... When I would look at myself in the mirror and I could see my rib cage, that person? You mean I can live in a house that is safe and warm and full of love? You mean I can have 3 to 4 meals a day with snacks included in between? You mean I can have a man who wakes up every morning and looks at me and says, I am so grateful for you? Me? You mean I can live a life where people in my life can say to me, I'm so glad you're a part of my life? Me? All of that can happen to me? You mean I can have a stack of books that I get to read and keep, and they are all mine? And I can read another book knowing that I have another stack that is waiting for me to read? Me? You mean I'm safe? And I'm loved? And I'm seen? And I'm heard? And I'm appreciated? Me? Do you know what I've been through? So yes, that's why I will never stop talking. And for those who still might have even an idea of they might silence me, no. Then nonga family. You know, like, there is just no way that I'm going to be silenced. There is no way that I'm going to be stopped. There is no way that I'm ever going to be shrinked and be put in that little can that I was once put in. Like, time's up. Time's up. And you know what? Now it's my turn.